In the creative battlefield, you have to improvise, adapt, and overcome the limitations of your design environment. The Better Handles plugin and the Extreme Path plugin are kind of like your mama. You love your mama, don't you, designer? Sir, yes, sir. Good. After watching this video and using these plugins, I expect you to treat him as well as you treat your mother. Do you understand me, designer? Sir, yes, sir. I'll love him like I do my mama, sir. I knew you were a mama's boy. Now go plug in, designer. Yes, sir. Right away, sir.
Welcome to Vector Basic Training. This is the Essential Plugins video. I hope you enjoy the intros that we've created for these videos. The Sarge can be kind of a hard ass at times, but I think he has a good heart. So we want to make him happy, and we want to do each of these videos according to what he's instructed us to do, because we really don't want to piss him off, trust me. So in this specific video, I'm going to show you how the Extreme Path plugin by C-Valley Software plays a part in the initial creation of your vector shapes. And then later I'll show you the Better Handles plugin and how you can use that to edit and refine those shapes. So first off is the Extreme Path plugin. And if you go to the toolbar over here, these four icons are what are added into your toolbar when you install the Extreme Path plugin. There's only going to be 3 features within this plugin set that we're going to focus on, that are focused on within this book and within these videos. Specifically, we're going to first focus on what's called the Segment Direct Edit tool. And this is what you will use primarily when you initially build your vector shape, do your rough building, that is. And then we're also going to cover another tool called the Symmetric Edit tool. This will allow you to bend a shape between 2 anchor points symmetrically, meaning it'll be a perfect curve. So that comes in handy on more geometric shapes, but we will be able to showcase it on this shape specifically. The other aspect is what's called the Round Fillet tool. Now there's plenty of fillet tools in here. There's actually over 30 tools total within the whole Extreme Path plugin install, but we only feature 3 of them because that's really all that's needed for creating your base vector shapes. The other ones you can use, and I use the other ones, it's not pertinent to the core building method, so we don't need to focus on those. So let's get started. We're going to grab the pen tool and we're going to begin to build the shape. Now if you look at the drawn form, any place in your drawing that comes to a point, this is like a little wispy flame type motif I drew out here. And I specifically created this for this tutorial so it wouldn't focus so much on figuring out the clockwork method, which we'll go over in another video, because anywhere in your drawing that comes to a point will get a point. So this one's pretty much a no-brainer. There's actually only going to be 2 spots in this entire form that will use a smooth anchor point. Everything else will be corners. And like I said, where there's a point, it gets a point. So pretty easy in terms of laying down your rough build. So this is rough building. We're not worrying about matching it up to the underlying drawing. We're just placing our points where they need to be. Figuring out where the points need to go in their prime point placement. And in this case is probably the only part of the shape that really needs to be discerned using the clockwork method. In this case, we're going to put it here, we're going to pull it out a little bit. And we're going to put it here and we're going to pull it out a little bit. And then we'll end it right there. Okay, so our rough building's done. Doesn't look good at this point. That's okay. It's a process. You don't need to get it right the first time. You're massaging this image. Think of it as a piece of clay and you're slowly forming it into the final shape you want to get it at. So at this point, you'll now select the Segment Direct Edit tool and you'll go in and you'll start just forming things. You'll grab anywhere on a path. So we'll grab anywhere on a path and you just pull it out. You can see how you can just bend it any way you want. So you'll just pull it out. And once you do that, the Bezier handles show up. Then you can grab the handle and more closely dial it into the shape. But even at this point, don't worry about getting it exactly lined up. You're just moving it closer to the shape. It's a continual progression. So we're going to just keep grabbing the path of the various parts and bending them closer. Not worrying about getting it exact at this point, just pushing it into the right general location. Now some paths like this one, you can pretty much dial it in from the get-go because it's such a small path. Other ones that bend to the left and then bend to the opposing direction, such as this one, you're not going to get right off the bat. Those will take more massaging in the next phase. So that's as close as we need to get it right now. So we'll keep bending, more bending. More bending. When there really isn't anything to say, that just means just pay attention to what I'm doing on screen, because you'll learn more just watching than listening to me talk. So I don't want to overdo it with the commentary. I think it's not needed at times. So the last path we're going to leave is this one on the left, and that's because I'm going to use this symmetric edit tool to show you how that works. And we'll just grab on the path and just pull it out. And so if I go up, you can see how it adjusts the curve like that. So I'm just going to match it to the curve we have going there and call it good. Now, this is now closer to the final, but it's still not perfect. So at this point, we want to dial in the Bezier curves. We want to adjust the Bezier curve handles in order to really make this a precise graphic according to our underlying drawing. But before we do that, you notice that these are the only 2 points in our entire vector shape that should be smooth points, but you can see this one is broken. So when you use the Extreme Path plugin, the Segment Direct Edit tool here, and you bend shapes, if you have smooth anchor points that should be smooth, they're going to break. That's okay. Just select them like we've done here, and up here in the control panel, you'll just click Convert Selected Anchor Points to Smooth, and that'll fix them. Now all we need to do is just, starting from here, we'll just go around the entire perimeter of our shape and finesse it. Now, many times at this point, if I need to zoom in, I will, and then I'll zoom out and zoom in and zoom out, because most of the time my shapes are a little more complex than this. This is simplistic for the sake of communication purposes, but it's also, I don't want to be zooming in and out on the tutorial because it just tends to be annoying. So we're going to stay at one central distance from the specific piece of art as we build so that you can see the whole in one shot. So all this is about is finessing our Bezier curves, grabbing the handles that are automatically created when you use the Direct Edit Segment Edit tool, and we just pull and manipulate these handles to form the Bezier curve of the path to match our underlying drawing. And I'm kind of anal when it comes to this. It's like, that's why it's so important to draw out what you need to build before you build it, because you can waste so much time at this phase. And this is a relatively simple graphic. You can waste a lot of time fast on something that's drastically more complex to build by not having a precise drawing to be your roadmap to build from. So that's the final vector shape, all the points. You can see how that looks. So that's the Extreme Path plugin in the initial creation of your shape. First comes rough building. You're just laying your points down. Next comes finessing it with the Extreme Path plugin by bending the paths out and forming it closer to the shape, and then going in, fixing any anchor points that have busted. And then the fourth part is to finesse your Bezier curves by controlling the handles to match your underlying drawing.